Hey there folks, I am the Mighty Plantain. Thanks for checking out this video. We are looking at the Samuel Adams American Craft Lager collection today. We're going to run through all 6 beers, and this contains the Boston Lager, Freshest Hells, Noble Pills, the Kellerbier, the Coffee Black Lager, and the Smoked Lager. Now, I'm pretty sure a couple of these are new. The Kellerbier seems familiar, but I don't recall ever having it before. The Coffee Black definitely seems new, and I believe the Smoked Lager is certainly new. In any case, all 3 of them aren't very familiar to me, but I'm going to try and line these up correctly. We're going to start with Freshest Hells, and then I believe we're going to go with the Smoked Lager, and then move on to the Boston, the Coffee Black Lager, and then the Kellerbier and the Noble Pills. Noble Pills is last because it's the hoppiest. The only reason I'm putting the Kellerbier after the Coffee Black Lager is because it does have a higher IBU, and it specifically mentions the hoppiness on the description. The Coffee Black Lager is actually only clocking in at 19 IBUs, which should put it ahead of Boston Lager in terms of IBUs, but I'm putting it after the Boston Lager because I anticipate that the coffee flavor will be more overpowering than the hoppiness of the Boston Lager for the later hoppier beers. So hopefully I got those lined up right, and we'll see what happens. But without further ado, let's get started with the Freshest Hells. Now, toting these around, I got this lovely little item. It was a Christmas gift from my mother. It's designed to hold 6 beers, although there's a little bit of wiggle room here, so be careful if you grab one. These are available at TJ Maxx. It's kind of nice faux leather. It's got 4 little coasters on this side, which is kind of cool. I don't use coasters very often, but I do on my coffee table and living room. Just chilling, cold beer here. Just typical beer logos. Beer me. This beer's for you. Just nice leather coasters with an anti-skid fabric on the back. Not too bad. But yeah, 4 of those and a bottle opener built into this side. It's kind of nice if you want to tote something out to a party or something. I mean, it's kind of fancy. Showing up with one of these might be cool. Probably not something for everyday use, but it's kind of nifty. Thanks, Mom. So let's get started here with the Freshest Hells. Hey, doesn't work too bad. Alright, now I've done the Freshest Hells before. I'm wondering if my experience with it this time will be the same as it was last time. I didn't review the video of my last review of this, so it could be completely different. Who knows? There's a very nice fresh aroma and an undertone, some kind of smokiness there. I forgot to give you a look at the beer. Got a little too excited tonight, but it's a very clear beer. It's got a nice copperish, amberish hue to it. It is somewhat effervescent. Not cloudy at all. It's got a nice medium light mouthfeel. There's a little bit of body to it. And it is very fresh tasting. And it's just got this crisp, refreshing flavor. Hint of smokiness. I'm not really picking up on a whole lot of other stuff going on there. Maybe a hint of hoppy bitterness in the finish, but nothing specific. Yeah, I'm really curious to see what my impression of what it was of it the first time around. Right now, it's sitting for me at a solid 3 out of 5. Now on that scale, I'll try to say this just once for this video. A 1 to 5 scale, a 2.5 is average. So this is a slightly above average beer. And what's putting it slightly above average is its drinkability. It is crisp and smooth, and it is quite refreshing. And it's got that fresh flavor to it. It's going down easy. This is not going to be a bad beer to drink, but there's nothing about the flavor that's really jumping out at me or impressing me. It's not very bold in terms of any of the particular flavor components there, but still slightly above average beer. I'm going to go ahead and finish this up and move on to the smoked lager. Alright, so next up is this smoked lager. Whoops. I rearranged. I'm grabbing from the wrong side of the caddy here. Toasty malt and beechwood smoke. Not much other information on there, so let's see here. Oh, come on. This worked just fine for me with the last one. Definitely want to keep your hand on it and make sure you catch that bottle cap, though. Well, that's interesting. It's got a darker color than I was thinking. Ooh, I can smell the smoke from here. Look at that. That is nice and dark. It's almost got a bit of a reddish tinge to it. Not very effervescent. Still clear, not cloudy. But I don't know. That's it's hard to describe the color. It's definitely a dark brown with hints of gold. Dark golden brown. Maybe a toasty brown. Definitely a distinctly smoky character to it. A sweet smoke. Now it says beechwood, but it's reminiscent of it's reminiscent of maple or something sweeter, but it says beechwood, so it's there. It's just under the surface, but there's a very nice smokiness to the aroma. It's got a nice medium heavy mouthfeel. And it's all smoke. And there's just a woody, smoky character to it. I'm not really getting much else off of it. Yeah, toasty malt and beechwood. So it lives up to the label. Yeah. I mean, that's awesome. It's really good. It's just toasty and smoky. There's not really much else coming out of there. I'm really enjoying it, but in terms of a rating, I gotta hit this with a 3.5 out of 5, which puts it quite a bit above average again, but it's kind of a one-trick pony for me. And there's just that toasty, smoky character, and there's nothing else in there. No subtle aromas or flavors. Just toasty and smoky. So it's not quite earning itself a 4 or higher, but definitely a solid 3.5 is a decent, not somewhat, but fairly above average beer. I mean, I drink it over and over again, and it's definitely a good campfire beer, or if you've got a wood stove or even a pellet stove in the house, it's going to enhance that wood smell, that wood smoke aroma that you're already getting from those things. I mean, I like it myself, just sitting around a fire or around the wood stove, but it was a perfect beer to enjoy in those circumstances. Hell, take it out in the cold with you if you're using a fire to keep warm in the middle of winter. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say about that one, but definitely a decent, solid 3.5 out of 5. But a very enjoyable 3.5 out of 5. So I'm going to finish this one up and move on to the next. Alright, next up, a beer that should offer no surprises if anybody's watched any of my variety pack videos before. We've got Sam Adams Boston Lager. Once I get the hang of that thing, I think I'm getting better at it, and it's working better for me. There we go. There's that typical golden brown color. Nice and clear. Ooh, pardon. But dark, not cloudy. When I say clear, I mean not cloudy. Slightly effervescent. I didn't really get a good head on it, but that's something that I always struggle with. Yeah, look at that beer. Oh. Slightly malty, slightly hoppy aroma. Nice medium heavy mouthfeel. Not medium heavy, I'm sorry, medium light. Medium mouthfeel. It's right there in the middle of the road. I mean, this beer is always a perfect 5 out of 5 for me. Not because there's any particular flavor or characteristic about it that stands out. It's just this perfectly well-balanced beer. You know, there's a lot of discussion to be had about it, but I love this beer. It's always going to be one of my favorites. And for me, it's got this nice medium mouthfeel. It's got a nice roasty malt character and this great hop blend where you're just getting this bit of hoppy bitterness, but no particular characters coming forward. It's just a really well-balanced beer and an awesome alternative to a lot of the others out there. Way back in the day, it caught my attention, let's be honest, partly because of the commercials, but as an alternative to the Miller Lights, the Bud Lights, the Millers, and the Budweisers out there. Sam Adams, at least in the New England region, was one of the first widely available alternatives to your big name domestic beers, and I'll always have a certain respect for it, from respect for the beer because of that. But just a consistently well put together product that's got a perfect balance of all the characteristics I'm looking for in a good beer without any one or the other being overwhelming. Always a good decision and always a perfectly well balanced beer for me. So, like I said, no surprises to anybody who's seen me review this beer before in any of the variety packs. I'm always happy to see it included in the Sam Adams variety packs because it's not a disappointment. There are times when I think I'd like to see them kick it out in order to add another beer, but that was more so back when they were only putting 4 varieties in their variety packs. They've since gone back to a solid 6 almost every time, and so I'm okay with having a couple of Sammy Bostons in there because I still get 5 other beers and usually 1 or 2 new ones in there. So enough about that. I'm going to finish this one off and we're going to move on to beer number 4. Okay, so next up, Coffee Black Lager. Now, I know I definitely haven't had this one before. Whether or not this is a new beer from Sam Adams or not, I'm not sure. But it says here it's a lager with coffee added. I've had a few coffee-enhanced beers, and so far, most of them have been hits. So I'm hoping this one's another one. Ooh, that's nice and dark. Actually, the first one out of this pack that I've managed to put a somewhat decent head on. I think that little quick tip and kick at the end there really helped me. I have yet to master that technique. You'd think, however many freaking years later, I'd be better at it, but apparently it is not. a skill I have acquired. That is a very dark beer. There's a hint of light coming through. Even in the thicker parts of the glass where the beer's thicker, I'm still seeing a little bit of a reddish highlight where some light is getting through, but doesn't look cloudy, but I can't tell because it's so dark. And that's got a heavy coffee aroma. Wow. I mean, that's just roasted bean coffee is all I'm smelling. Ooh. That's very interesting. It kind of goes back and forth. Up front in the aroma, it's all coffee. As you drink it, though, it's definitely a beer. It's got that malty character to it. It's got a nice medium mouthfeel. It's not quite medium heavy, but it's on the heavy end of medium, if that makes any sense. But that first sip as it rolls off the tongue is definitely a beer. No distinct beer characteristics, just a plain old lager type of thing. You know, I'm getting some maltiness, maybe a tiny hint of hoppiness, but not much. But then in the finish, it's all coffee once again. I'm liking that. I'm liking it a lot. It's disappearing pretty damn quick. I could be in trouble with this one. But, yeah, that's a very nice, warming beer. It's sitting kind of heavy right here. And I'm getting a little flush. I can feel it warming me up. And I know that's an illusion. Alcohol actually causes your blood flow to increase, which means that your core body temperature drops. But, pardon. But I'm getting that flush. I can feel it warming me up, you know. Whatever's actually happening biologically, you feel warmer when you drink a beer or when you drink certain types of liquor. But this particular beer is warming me up in that way. But that's pretty damn good. Like I said, I've had a couple of other coffee beers before. This one really represents a great blending, and I'm enjoying it a lot right now. Oh, limited. There's some text faintly in the background of the label, but it gets cut off by the shape of the label down here, so this I doesn't come through it. I noticed it. I was like, what the hell is that? I don't know if it'll show up on camera, but it does say limited in the label. The LIMI is on top, and then the ED is just to the left, just the right of the bear there. Well, it's on the right when you look at it. When I show it to you, you might be getting a mirror image, so it might be on the left. Crap. Anyway, I'm overthinking it. It's to the right of the bear as you're looking at the label. Like right in here, you can see the ED. So I hope that's showing up on the camera, otherwise I sound like a frickin' lunatic. But anyway, minor details of the beer label aside, I'm putting this at a solid 4 out of 5 because I'm really enjoying it right now. It's a great blend of beer and coffee. It's coming together really well, and like I said, I'm getting that really nice warming sensation from it that's just enhancing the experience for me. So I'm going to finish this one up, and then we'll do beer number 5. Alright, so next up is the Kellerbier, and B-I-E-R, Kellerbier, yeah. Yeah. All right, enough of that. It also says limited on the label. Again, it's that really faint. I don't know. I think when they redesigned their labels, they put this together, and this is probably just the first time I'm actually noticing it. But hazy with herbal hoppiness. So this is why I put it after the coffee lager, because it specifically mentions the hoppiness. And of course the IBUs on this are actually just slightly higher. No, I think that's 30. Yeah, 30. So it actually puts it at the same IBU as the Boston Lager, but just because it specifically mentioned the hoppiness on the label, I put it after the Boston Lager, because even though the Boston Lager comes in at 30 IBUs, it's not an overwhelming hoppiness, and the bitterness of the coffee from the other one I thought would kind of overwhelm anything prior that I drank prior to it, and I'm hoping that I'm right in putting this next rather than before the coffee lager. It's got an interesting aroma. It is slightly hazy. This is the first beer in this pack that has any cloudiness to it. It's a slightly hazy, copper-toned beer, I guess. Not very effervescent. There's only a few bubbles coming up out of there. That is definitely an interesting aroma. And it's got like this herbal spicy aroma. So, herbal hoppiness and hazy. I can't pick out anything in particular, though. It's like this general spiciness or herbalness. No particular notes coming forward. It's got a nice medium mouthfeel. I really can't put my finger on what I'm tasting. I mean, it's definitely got an herbal character to it, but in terms of what specific herbs are in there, I'm not able to pick anything out. I mean, it's possible that it's just whatever hop blend they used gave it this general herbalness. But let's see if there's more information on the label. Interesting. This hazy lager blends bready malts, noble hops, and oak chips for a complex aroma and a dry finish. I'm definitely getting a little bit of the dry finish, but I'm just getting this odd, spicy, herbal flavor. It finishes with this general hoppy bitterness. I'm not picking out the oak that they mentioned. I'm not picking out any of the particular other ingredients. There's actually a bit of sweetness now to it. Yep, as it rolls off the tongue, there's a bit of sweetness to it there. I mean, I can definitely tell that what they're talking about, the bready malts. There's a bit of a bit of an overall graininess to it. This beer has got me slightly perplexed. I'm really liking it, and after reading the expanded description here on the box, I understand what they were going for and what ingredients and what flavors I'm supposed to be picking up on, but I'm not getting any of that. I'm just getting this overall spicy herbal flavor that I can't put my finger on. I can't pick out any particular notes or specific flavors. And then it finishes with this bit of overall hoppy bitterness. Yeah, that's interesting. It's different. Definitely different. I think I've got to give the Kellerbier a 4 out of 5. It's just, it's intriguing in its mystery for me. Like I said, I read the description and they're telling me what I'm supposed to be tasting, but I'm not getting that. I'm also not getting anything that I can specifically identify, but I do know I like it. So overall, the whole thing's coming together really well, and the fact that it's given me that bit of a mystery and slightly confounding me, that's impressive. So again, 4 out of 5 for me. I'm going to finish this up. I might slow down, take my time, try to identify some of the notes I'm supposed to be picking up on. See how that goes. But after I'm done with it, we'll move on to the 6th and final, the Noble Pils. Alright, and for the final beer in this pack, we have the Sam Adams Noble Pils. Now, Noble Pils will always hold a special place in my heart. It was actually one of the first really hoppy beers that got me into hoppy beers. I just started to dip my toe into the craft beer, well, the variety of craft beers out there and all the different styles. I mean, I was aware of stouts. I liked Guinness. I was aware of reds. I liked Killian's Irish Red, but didn't really recognize, the ingredients in beers and all that until I started looking into stuff, and I drank the Noble Pils because honestly the commercial got my attention. They were talking about all these noble hops and it was this much flavor and this much depth, but I didn't really know what hoppy beers were all about. I mean, I'd had a couple of IPAs, and honestly I wasn't a big fan back in those days. But I got the 6-pack of Noble Pils, figured I was going to be all hoity-toity for a while, trying to impress the new girlfriend, who I'm married to now, by the way, with my ability to drink these crazy craft beers. Honestly, the first Noble Pils I drank, I was not a big fan. By the time I hit the 3rd bottle of it, though, I was like, wow, there's something to this. And I've been a hophead ever since. So, like I said, got some fond memories of Noble Pils. Getting a little uncoordinated here. I'm not even a full 6 beers in yet, so that might not bode well for the rest of the evening. But, didn't even have to hit that little kick at the end to put a decent head on this one. It is clear. It's got a slightly orangish, copperish hue, but mostly a yellow color. Somewhat effervescent. Just about put my nose in the foam there. Haven't been having to deal with this type of head on the other 5. Just an overall hoppy aroma. Nothing particular standing out. A nice medium light mouthfeel, but the impressive part is this is a heavily floral hoppy beer. It just, it's got a nice medium mouthfeel and decent malt backbone, but no particular notes coming out there. You can tell that it's got some grainy character to the beer. but I'm not getting any roasted or toasty notes, no wheaty or bready notes. It's pretty much a nice solid beer that punches you in the face with the hoppiness. Like I said, heavily floral, but I'm getting notes of earthiness underneath. Maybe some citrus. No, not really citrus. Maybe some pine in the finish, but not really citrusy notes. See, one of the things that impresses me about the Noble Pills, I pick up primarily on pine and citrus in the hoppy character of a beer. That's just seems to be the way I'm tuned in terms of my sense of taste. But with the Noble Pills, I'm getting heavily floral notes. I mean, they say it right on the label that it's a floral, floral and dignified. And I get those floral notes. I'm getting undertones of earthiness, which is another hop character that I don't normally pick up on. So it impresses me. For me, the Noble Pills will probably always be a 4 out of 5. At least. And tonight, yeah, it's hitting a 4 out of 5. I'm sure some days I will rate it higher than that, just depending on what else I've had and what kind of mood I'm in. But for right now, it's a 4 out of 5. And I'll be honest, the nostalgia, the fact that it was my introduction really to hoppy beers and where I think I turned a corner and really started to enjoy them, I think that's always going to give it some extra points for me personally. But yeah, a solid 4 out of 5. So overall, this variety pack has no losers. I mean, they're all good beers. I enjoy them each to a certain extent, but they're all definitely above average. Nice craft beers. Ooh, pardon. But, yeah. I mean, the Freshest Hell's not one of my favorites, but definitely still worth drinking, above average, and something I'll never turn down. But given the choice between that and some of the others in here, I would definitely go with those. Again, all above average. No losers in this pack. Absolutely worth checking out. But that's just what I think. Hit me up down in the comments, the email link down below. Let me know what you have to say about any of these particular beers or the variety pack as a whole. I think it's a great experience and worth picking up. While you're down there, make sure to click on like and share. When you like and share the video, I get more attention and potentially more views. And I wouldn't mind growing the channel. Also, make sure to subscribe. When you click on subscribe, you get a notification every time I post a new video. Till next time, folks, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.